Wow. What a responsibility. Well, thank you very much. I want to start thanking Altanico for the invitation. Celise Berry, great partner. Ken Jansen, who is my colleague, I think he's not here. He's arriving today. My JP Morgan colleagues are here. Great to have you here. And that's it. But before I start, also I want to thank Disney for the wonderful lunch. Thank you very much. But before I start, this is not about me, or this is not about JP Morgan. This is about being human and doing the right thing. And if you want to be cynical and forget about the human part of the equation, I have bad news. Companies will fail if they are not diverse, if they don't embrace diversity. I've been doing banks for a while. I'll talk a little bit about this, and I've seen that. So if you refuse to look at what's going on in the society, your company will fail. And if you are working for a company or with a company that doesn't embrace diversity, including LGBT, bad news, you have to change. So let me go quickly through the presentation I brought today. I want to keep this simple and quick. I'll talk about my personal journey, what happened with me in my life, and I think that's very important to put the situation or the environment into context. Then today, what is going on with the LGBT cause in Brazil today, and what is next. So this is a timeline, a very simple one. I was born in '66. Brazil, at that time, had a dictatorship, a military dictatorship. Human rights were basically forbidden. We couldn't, voice up. We couldn't say what we had in mind. Political rights and human rights were forbidden. So that's when I was born, and I grew up in this environment. And as you can see in the timeline, you have a series of events that basically demonstrated that the LGBT cause or the LGBT people were ignored by society. We had in 1980 a federal police operation which basically sent people to jail because they were lesbians. So that was the environment I grew up in Brazil. I am Catholic. I come from a Catholic country, so just a picture of myself having my first communion. And then as I move closer to today, you see that I work for several companies, and in parallel, a lot of things happen. The financial markets environment is pretty much what is described in this slide. I mean, you can see this as an exaggeration, but in fact, this is what used to happen. So people didn't respect each other, and you had to be like this to be successful. So this is what I faced in my early days in my career. And you see the banks that I work for. It's almost 33 years working for banks, and most of the banks didn't respect the minorities. And some of them disappeared, by the way. They are not there anymore. So JP Morgan, what do we do there? What the team represented here does on a daily basis? We believe in exceptional client service, in operational excellence. It is an intrinsic part of our strategy to have diverse people, to have diversity in the team. So in order to have a great environment and winning team, we believe that we need to have different people. So going back a little bit, I joined the bank in 2013, and before that, in 2002, I joined another bank, and I decided to mention that because this was a very important moment in my life. I joined ABN AMRO Bank in Brazil, a large retail bank, and my boss at that time had a very advanced mentality towards diversity. And I still remember the day that one of our senior economists came out, and that guy, Fábio Barbosa, who I mentioned here, gave full support to him. This was in 2002. You can't imagine how difficult this was back then. And he gave full support to this guy, and his career developed like crazy. I mean, developed a lot because of the support the bank and Fabio gave him. So this was a very eye-opening event to me, and this is when I started to be more engaged with diversity, including the LGBT cause. I'm a soccer guy, I'm a football guy. In order to have a winning team, you need to have different people, period. If you want to succeed, you have to have different people working with you or for you. If you have everybody thinking the same way, especially in today's environment, you will fail. And I strongly believe on that. And I bring the soccer analogy because you have a lot of different people, 11 different people, working or playing towards the same target or goal. What we have in the bank today, quick word about the what we call BRGs, Business Resource Groups. These are groups that deal with minorities, or if you want, deal with diversity. This is JP Morgan Brazil. We have accessibility, which deals with people with disabilities, physical disabilities. Adelante for Hispanic people and Latinos. Bold for black employees. Next Gen for young employees. Win for women. And Pride, the group that I represent here today. Quick word about Bold. You can't imagine how difficult it is to be a black person in Brazil in the financial market. So this is something that we need to dedicate more resources and more attention to. But anyway, I'm here to talk about Pride, and I'm moving forward. This is a couple of examples of things that we've been doing at the bank in order to have people joining the group, and most importantly, influentiate the marketplace. And this is our goal today. Make the Pride voice being heard by the other banks and other firms working in the financial markets, and also by our clients, no matter the sector, no matter the geography in Brazil, the clients are in. So when I started in 2013, I gave my back. I did it together with Ken, and today we have around 47% of the workforce of the office in Brazil fully engaged with the Pride initiatives. I'm very proud of that. Remember, we came back, thank you. Conservative, Catholic, marketplace, and all these things that I mentioned before. It wasn't easy, but with the leadership of this team that I represent here today, we got here. A lot of things to be done, but I think we did a good job, but we have a lot of things to do. So a couple of pictures. I think the one that I wanted to highlight is the one, or the ones, in the gay parade this year, and I'm very proud to say that I took my daughter to that event, and we had a great time. This is a huge parade, a huge event in Brazil, in São Paulo. Around 2 million people gathered together, and was a big success. And we try to do that, inviting other financial firms and firms around the financial business to join. And I think we're making a difference, disseminating the ideas of Pride. What is next? What needs to be done so we can continue to move the needle? As Celie said, it's step by step. It's difficult. I mean, you have to do on a daily basis. Sometimes you feel that you are going back. And I think you have to look at the target and think about in the long term. I mean, this is a marathon. It's not a short-term event. And you have to keep an eye on what's going on a daily basis, but think about the future and where you want to get. And today, our most important objective is to influentiate the marketplace, like I said before. A bank like JP Morgan, a company like JP Morgan, has a huge power in making sure that we can tell the other firms and the other banks what we are doing and why we are doing. And once again, if you don't want to think about the human aspects, think about how to be successful. This is about success versus failure. And this is what we are doing now. Celis will be in Brazil next month. We're going to have a huge event. Compared to last year, we had a small event. This year, we have the honor of having Jamie Dimon addressing the crowd, our CEO, and a lot of companies joining, including companies from different sectors, not only financial markets. So this is what we need to do now to make sure that we are disseminating these ideas to the rest of the economy, not only the financial system, which was our first goal, but also now the other sectors of the economy. It needs to be a top priority in the agenda for all the companies. It's still a very conservative scenario. I bring some figures here. Only one representative in the lower house or in the Congress. We have around 600 people in the Congress. Only one is an LGBT representative. Only one. This year, we had a project about rights for the LGBT community, and we had, which is being discussed, enhancing the rights of the LGBT. But sometimes we have things that are taking place that take us back like 5 or 10 years. A couple of weeks ago, a judge said or authorized psychologists to treat LGBT people. I mean, today, this is outrageous. So you have to be very careful and make sure that we continue to advance and we don't go back. So this is, once again, what a firm like JP Morgan needs to do and can do in order to be alert and to help us to continue to move forward. So to finalize, or to summarize, I'm a very proud ally, or ally, and I'm certain that the efforts of the group, which once again represented here, my team, my JP Morgan colleagues, and also the team in Brazil, will make a difference. It's a tough work, day to day, step by step, but we're gonna get there. And once again, it's about success versus failure. It's about doing the right thing and win-win. And I'm sure we'll get there. Thank you very much. Real pleasure.